What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the NECA Ultimate Collection Fugitive Predator from the movie The Predator. Here we do have the Fugitive Predator in the packaging. What we're going to do now is take a little break, get him open up, and then we'll have a better look at the figure inside. So stay tuned, everyone. And so here we have the Fugitive Predator posing out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at what he comes with. The Fugitive Predator here does come with quite a few accessories. For starters, he does come with two different head sculpts. He comes with the masked head that he has on him right now. And then he also does come with an unmasked head where he's screaming, which looks really well done. He also does come with two interchangeable forearms. He comes with the gauntlets on. And then he also does come with the gauntlets off, and the two hands that he has on him, the fists and the open palms, can be interchanged between the gauntlets and the bare forearms, so if you want to do that, you can. And then his final accessories are four blades that go right into the gauntlets, and they fit really nicely, and they all look really good inside the gauntlet, and that's a really good accessory. Other than that, the Fugitive Predator doesn't come with any other accessories. No smart discs, no staffs, nothing. He just comes with the blades, and that's pretty much it. And then we do get the open hands, of course, but overall, still a pretty good batch of accessories for a Predator figure. So what I'm going to do now is actually get a closer look so we can have a look at his details. And so here we have a look at the Fugitive Predator, and I have to say they did a really good job sculpting this figure. There's a lot of things to like about this Predator figure. For starters, let's actually take a look at his helmet. They did a really good job just dry brushing all that worn metal look on it. I'm pretty sure the base coat is like a really dark gunmetal, and then they just brush it over with a lighter, I don't want to say it's like a lighter gunmetal, and you can see it does reflect really well in the light. We have the darker shades right over here. We have some gold on the mask, which is really surprising because we really don't see too many Predators with gold in their armor. Normally it's just silver and maybe some black. But you can see all the little intricate details on his mask right here. NECA did a fantastic job just sculpting this figure. And then they also did put some gloss over the eyes, which does add much more detail to the figure. You can see as I move the figure, the gloss in the eyes are the glasses. They're glasses. The glass in his helmet does reflect the light really well, so that's done surprisingly good, and good on NECA for actually adding that little detail. One thing I do want to point out is that it does look like the mask can come off. I don't recommend you actually do that because it's not meant to come off. If you were to pull the mask off, you would probably have a Predator face, but he would be missing the mandibles. And the mandibles are something that the Predators are known for. So don't try to take this mask off. It's not intended to come off. You can see the dreadlocks here are really well sculpted. You can see some detail going all the way around them. The dreadlocks, the Predator dreadlocks, whatever you want to call them, they're done really well. We have some silvers going all the way down. And then, surprisingly, all the dreads, even the ones on the inside, have that silver paint. So it's not just the top ones and then they left it at that. We actually do have some really good detailing right here on his dreadlocks. And that's just the head. That's not going over the rest of his body because he still has a lot of detailing throughout the course of his body. You can see his armor. Surprisingly different from what we've seen on most Predator figures. Most of the time we see maybe a chest piece and a shoulder guard. Fugitive Predator here is decked out in almost a full suit of armor. You can see his armor right here has that same silvers, the gunmetals, even some of the gold with some of the dry brushing in there just to give it some worn look. And it actually looks like it's battle damaged, so I really do like that little detail that it's not a crisp, clean armor. There's some wear and tear right here on his shoulders, right here on his chest. Just overall good detailing right there. Going on to the back, you can see just how much detail is actually on this Predator, and I do believe that if you wanted to, you could take his top armor off. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to. and I don't want to damage the figure. But you can see they did sculpt everything on this figure. The golds, the silvers, the gunmetals, they all work superb on this figure. Moving on to his flesh tones, you can see he's not wearing any of the netting on his arm like most Predators. His arm is actually really bare. You can see it has the reds right here, some tans, and then we have some black spots. So just surprisingly a great amount of detailing on the Predator, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to go over all of it. If I do miss something, please forgive me. There's so much to look at on this figure. The Gauntlet that you can see right here has some more detailing going all the way around. He actually has one of the more intricate gauntlets on a Predator figures that I've seen in a really long time. Of course, you do have the little notches where you can put his bladed accessories in. So if you want to have him with 2 or 1, you can. They just peg in like that. If you're having trouble pegging them in, do take a hairdryer to this, heat it up for about 30 seconds, then try to put the blade in. Do be careful because the blade is a little bit fragile and you don't want to be bending that, because that will indeed break. Having a look at his hands, you can see he has sculpted nails, and they're also painted. The nails are painted with a gloss black, and then the inside of his palm carries over that same tan that we see right here. And then he has that red and spotted deco right here on his arm. Underneath his armor right here, you can see he does wear the traditional netting, at least on the torso right here. And we do have his underbelly with that tan color. Going on to the back, you can see it does transition more into the red with the spots. So good job on the paint. Everything on him is clean for the most part. He does have some smart discs right here, but they are sculpted onto his belt, so you don't want to be removing these because they're not intended to come off. So just be aware that the smart discs are part of his costume, not separate accessories. His legs do have some leg armor right here, which continues that silver with the dry brush, some gold, some dark grays, some gunmetals. Overall, really good detailing here. And then these are separate pieces, so if you want to adjust his thigh guards, you can. I'm going to leave them as they are and probably adjust later on. And there's just so much detailing on him. Like, even his knee pads have some silver, some gold, some black. And then they also carry that almost chainmail feel to them. He's actually really well armored for a Predator. You really don't see Predator figures with this much armor. I do want to point out that one of the talons did come off on my Predator now. I do have it here on my review station. I'll try to get that glued back in. But if I can't, just be aware that the talons on his feet may pop off on you if you're handling him a little too hard, which I was. It's not a big deal. It's not something that you can notice just looking at him, but he is missing one of his talons right here, so there is that. So just overall really good detailing here on the Fugitive Predator. So what we're going to do now is actually get him compared to a few other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have the Fugitive Predator posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we do have the Fugitive Predator posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. And finally, here we have the Fugitive Predator posed next to the NECA Scorpion Alien. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to the Fugitive Predator's articulation. He does have quite a bit of articulation here. He does have a ball joint here in the head so he can look up. The dreads do get in the way, so you're not going to get him looking up past that. He can look down a surprising amount, although it's really hard to see where he's actually looking because he does have his helmet on. His head, of course, does turn left and right, no problem. You do want to be careful for his plaster cast, or his caster right here, because it's on a tiny little hinge, and if you move his head too quickly, you might end up breaking his plasma caster. So do be aware of that this is a separate piece. His arms are on ball joints. They do go out or do a full 360, no problem, because the shoulder armor is attached to the torso. I would not try doing a full 360 with this arm because of the plasma caster right here. Plasma caster, excuse me. You can if you really wanted to, but if you try it, that might butt into his head and snap right off. But his arms do go out to about there, which is pretty decent. No bicep swivel because of how his arm is sculpted, but he does have swivel right down here in the elbow. We have a double bend in the elbow. We have a swivel at the gauntlet. We have a hinge and swivel at the wrist. So really good articulation here on his arms. He does have a ball joint in the torso, although the top joint only seems to give him rotation. I can't really get him to go up or down too much. It's probably because of the way his armor is sculpted. He does have another ball joint right down here at the lower torso, so that does provide most of the movement right there. Does swivel, lean left and right, back and forth, so pretty good articulation there. Legs do kick forward to about that far before the armor starts butting up against one another. Goes back only to about that far. Goes out, let's see, he does a full split, which is really good. Never expected Predator to be that agile. He has a swivel at the thigh, double bend in the knee. Let's see, yeah, he has really stiff joints, but you can get his knee up. He also does have a rotation at the upper part of his knee. And then, of course, we do have a ball joint here at the ankle, which lets his leg go forward, back, side to side. And it's a really respectable distance. Not too many figures actually do that. And then we also do get some swivel on that ball joint. So overall, really good articulation here on the Fugitive Predator. What I'm going to do now is take a little break, get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Fugitive Predator posed for my final thoughts. Overall, I really do like the way this figure came out. I do feel he is one Predator lacking in the accessories department, seeing as how he doesn't have a traditional plasma caster. His gauntlets are removable if you want to swap out the forearms, which is a pretty good little thing. I would have preferred having more weapons with this Predator. Maybe a smart disc, a boomerang, a spear, just something. I know he really didn't use too many things in the movie, but it would have been nice if they just include those as Predator accessories. Overall, I still like the way this figure came out, and he has a lot of detail, which is really hard to go over without missing something. I'm pretty sure in my extensive look, I probably missed a couple of details. Like, I realized I didn't go over the articulation in his plasma caster, which it has two hinges and a ball joint so it can swivel around. There's a lot of things to love about this Predator figure. Not that the movie was anything great, but this figure is surprisingly done well. If you can find the Fugitive Predator and you want a really awesome Predator in your collection, you're going to want to have this guy added to your shelf. Or if you just want another Predator and you're a Predator fan, this guy is a must-have for any collector. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other NECA videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it fits in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. And while you're at it, check out my Instagram for new and exciting action figure photos. And ring that bell notification so you're updated every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.